Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to address time management, which is something I think is very important for a lot of mompreneurs, right? We are moms. So, first and foremost, we are time strapped as it is, and there are a lot of demands on our time and a lot of things that we need to get done in a day before we even begin to think about working on our business, right? So, to start with, I want to address this idea that time can be managed. Time is what it is, right? Time passes regardless of whether we are doing something interesting and fun or doing something boring or just doing nothing at all. Um, so it's not necessarily our time that needs to be managed so much as it's our focus and our conscious effort within that time and our prioritization of what we spend our time on. Okay. Because everybody's always saying, if I only had more time, if I just had more time, how can I make more time? But the thing is, we can't make more time. Time is what it is. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. Granted, everybody's 24 hours look different, right? Because we have different things going on. As moms, we have our small humans to keep alive. We have ourselves to keep alive. We have a household to manage. We have family and partners to interact with. We have all sorts of things going on. So, how can we make the most of the time we have available to not only feel good about ourselves as moms, but to invest in our business and to invest in ourselves? Okay. So, to begin with, you want to start by understanding your time. Okay. Because a lot of times time passes and we don't know where it's gone, right? So maybe we get into something like working on a project and we feel like hours have flown by, or maybe we just get to the end of the day and go, oh my gosh, where did all the time go today? What did I even do? So to start with, we want to start paying attention to our time and what we're doing and where our focus and energy is going during the time that we have. So I often tell my clients to, or have my clients do a time clarity exercise where they track their time, they look at, what they're doing, they actually pencil in their have to do's, the things that they have to do. Thank you. And they, you know, look at what gaps they have, the spaces that they have in their time, the, periods where they don't have any commitments, where it's their time. Um, and then when you look at what you have to do and the things that you actually have on your to-do list, take a look at how long it actually takes to do those things, right? I know for myself, I am very optimistic and very ambitious with my time. So this is something I work on for myself. I tend to think that I can get all these things done in a day, and each one of them is going to take me a half hour to 15 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, and I'm going to do them one after the other, and I'm not going to eat clearly based on the schedule I create. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to take a break. No one's going to need me. And then I get to the end of the day, and I'm like, oh, geez, I didn't get as much done as I thought I was going to get done. But that's because I'm not being realistic about how long it takes to do things and what I'm doing and why it might take some time, right? For example, if I'm working from home while I have an office to work in, I still have kids. So I might pencil in something taking only 15 minutes, but even when they know that they're not supposed to come into the office and bug mommy when she's doing something, I can see through my door. So they don't come in. They stand at the door and kind of dance a little and they wait and then they look at me and they're like, can I come in? And that's distracting, right? So that does add to the time it takes to get something done. So being realistic about how long it takes to do tasks can help us form a plan for the day that allows us to actually get a lot done. So once you've done your time clarity exercise and you know what you have to do, and when you put it down on a spreadsheet or a calendar, like a daily, weekly calendar, you can start to see where there are pockets of time that nothing is scheduled, that you don't have anything. And keep in mind, schedule in you too, right? So put in, have lunch, put in, go for a walk if that's something you like to do, put in, do yoga, put in, sit outside and read a book if that's something that helps you feel good. Schedule those in like have to do's, because you and taking care of you is a have to do, because without you, none of this matters. So you'll start to see that there's little pockets of time, right? Little things like sitting in the school pickup line, or, oh, I've got, 15 minutes between this and this, and there's these little gaps. And oftentimes what happens in those little gaps is that we fill them with things like scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram, reading the news on MSN, figuring out what's going on in Kim Kardashian's life lately, looking at what kind of birthday cake we were going to make for our kids on Pinterest. We fill it with things that, while they may be interesting and even sort of important, they're not productive in that time. So I want to introduce you to something if you haven't heard of it before. I've talked about it on some other broadcasts, but there's this law about time, right? And it's called Parkinsons Law. And Parkinson's Law states that the amount of time it takes to complete a project will expand or contract given the amount of time available. And if you don't believe that this is true, watch a mom who's just found out that her in-laws are coming over for dinner and she has 20 minutes to make the house look great. I kid you not. That house will be immaculate. Or maybe not. I mean, use another example, right? If something comes up and you watch somebody and they found out they only have 15 minutes to get something done, they will get it done, even though on a normal day it would take them 3 hours. And that's Parkinson's Law. However much time you have available, you will fill that time with an activity. Whether on a day when you have 20 minutes, it only takes 20 minutes, or a day where you have 3 hours, it takes 3 hours. That's just the way it works, right? It's the way that our brain uses time and we use time, and the way we process. So if we know that the amount of time it takes to do something can expand or contract based on the amount of time we have available to do it, then all of a sudden those 15-minute pockets that we see suddenly become useful time, right? What we might previously have written off as not worth getting started now becomes something that maybe we can pencil something in. So one thing I've told clients or asked them to try previously when they're like, I can't find time to work on my business. I said, well, what are you doing to create this time? And they're like, well, I'm putting it on my list every day and I'm going to do 2 hours a day. And then I get to the end of the day and I didn't get there and I feel bad. And I'm like, awesome. And you probably have this shame loop going on with yourself where I didn't get to it yet again. And I said, what if you start realistically? What if you work on your business for 15 minutes a day? Everybody goes, 15 minutes, what's that going to do? 15 minutes is an amazing amount of time, right? And it's kind of fascinating because 15 minutes is the amount of time that we look at and go, oh, that's not very much. But at the same time, it's the amount of time where if somebody asks us to do something for 15 minutes, we look at it and go, okay, yeah, I can tolerate that for 15 minutes, even if it's something we don't want to do, like laundry. I don't like folding laundry, but if somebody says, can you just do it for 15 minutes? I'm like, yeah, sure. No problem. I'm in. 15 minutes. Got it. Kids can even wrap their heads around 15 minutes because usually you can say it's the length of a show. It's the length of 2 Blueies. It's, this much time, right? 15 minutes. Hi there. Is something that people can wrap their head around. It doesn't feel daunting, right? You're not already overwhelmed the minute you walk into the activity, because you can do 15 minutes. Even if you hate it, you can do it. And so if we commit ourselves to doing something for 15 minutes, say social media engagement for 15 minutes, or going live on Facebook for 15 minutes, or sending out invoicing for 15 minutes. There's so many things we can do for our business in 15 minutes that if we focus on it uninterrupted for 15 minutes, we will actually get an enormous amount of work done. Because while it might not feel like a lot on day one, on day 5, you're going to be like, oh, I actually got some stuff done. And on day 30, you're going to have changed your business because you are going to have spent 15 minutes a day for 30 days focused on moving your business forward. Like they say, we overestimate the amount we can get done in a year or a day, but we underestimate what we can get done in 10 years. Think back to yourself 10 years ago. You were probably a completely different person, right? But I bet you if you were in a bad place 10 years ago, you probably thought it would never get better. And then it did. But you didn't notice it got better because you worked away at it little bit by little bit. And so we can change things in 15 focused minutes a day. We can actually build momentum, right? Because 15 minutes is something you can do. And so if you start doing 15 minutes focused work on your business every day, you start to feel good, not bad. You start to be proud of yourself, not feel shame. You start to be like, whoa, I'm working on my business every day. And that pride grows and you feel good. And you're like, wow, I'm making progress. This is amazing. And then you magically find another pocket of 15 minutes. Why? Because you want to. Because now you don't dread the work you're doing on your business. You feel good about it because you are gaining momentum. You are accomplishing things. You've got, conversations going on with clients. You've got things happening. You've got all this stuff. And so it becomes easier and easier to make time to work on your business because it starts to become a want to do, not a have to do. And that mindset shift is monumental. So one last tip I want to give you today, and this is specifically geared towards doing this stuff when you have kids. And I developed this because I have twins, right? So I've got twins. And for those of you who have twins, you'll understand. Twins mean that nobody ever gets full attention from the day they're born, right? You got 2 babies crying at the same time. You can only attend to one of them at a time. They have to learn patience. And as they get older, they get better at demanding time and attention. They also want the same things at the same time. So if one is playing on a trampoline, the other one wants to be on that trampoline. So when they were little, we started working with timers. And we'd say, okay, we're setting a timer. You get to do this for 5 minutes and then it's your turn. And it worked because they knew that the timer was going to go off. There was something keeping track on their behalf. And the timer would go off and they knew that that meant it was their turn. And the other person knew that their turn was over. But they also knew they were going to get another turn 5 minutes later. And the fact that there was something keeping track of this for them made it easier for them to be patient. Okay. And then when they're really little, they like watching the numbers count down. I mean, you can get an egg timer and they can watch it go tick, 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 whatever you got to use. Oh, I'm glad that it's helping. Thank you. So a timer actually works as well for you as a mom to get them to give you time. If they come and they're like, hey, mom, I need your help, or I want to show you this. And you say, hey, mommy is focused right now. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And when the timer goes off, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to come do what you want to do. Instead of standing there and being like, mom, 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 and you can feel the hair on your neck stand up and your nerves are at their wits' end, they actually kind of go and do their own thing. And here's why. Because they know that that same timer is going to remind you it's time to go and do that thing with them. They don't have to remind you. They're not relying on you to remember, because probably in the past, we've said the same thing and forgotten, right? It's easy to do. No shame, no blame, no judgment. I do it. That's why I have a timer. But now they know something else is going to hold you accountable. And not only is it going to tell you that it's time to go, they're going to hear it and they're going to know your time is up, right? So you can't even pretend that, oh no, it's only been 10. And so this gives them peace of mind. And so they go off to do whatever it is they do, and you get your 15 focused minutes. And if you don't believe me, try it. I kid you not. You have to start small. I mean, start at 5 minutes. Be like, oh, mommy just needs 5 minutes, and then grow it to 7, and then maybe 10, and keep going, and you'll get to 15. But the timer works with kids, and it helps get you time. And it also creates a parameter inside your mind. So you're like, okay, I know I'm not going to get lost in this and forget to do all the other things I have on my list because the timer is set and I'm good. I can focus. So try it out. I'd love to hear if it works for you. I'd love to hear what you think. And let me know if there's anything else that you want me to discuss or touch base on. If you have any questions, hit me up. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And remember that the woman you see when you look in the mirror is exactly what a successful entrepreneur looks like. Be well. Bye.